Hello and welcome to the Closed Pyramid, where we talk all lower league soccer in America, presented by the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan Wiegand, and for the first time ever, joining me is Logan Stump.
Hey, this pyramid's not so closed. They've now relegated me to the. No, I'm kidding.
We opened it up for you, yeah.
Right. I guess it's a promotion in a way because I get to talk USL, which is really exciting because
You could say a relegation too, because you have to do more work now too. It can work both ways.
Right. I'm still trying to catch up on the league, so pardon any kind of mistakes that I make here. But I'm excited about USL just because I know of the Rowdies and I know a lot about them just because they're local and they are a staple.
In your battery, right?
My Charleston battery, right? I grew up. I used to go to Blackbaud Stadium, which is where they used to play. I think they now play at College Charleston, so that's fun. I know they added in new standing, the standing bleachers and supporter sections. College of Charleston just added those in as part of a gift from the battery, I think. So that's pretty cool.
Weird. You think that? Is that a step down? I'm not sure how that works. Is that a step down from the other stadium, or would they be?
So I would say, honestly, like Blackbaud was cool because it has a lot of history, but it's in the same area. It's on Daniel Island in Charleston, South Carolina. But I would argue that the way that College of Charleston has built their stadium, it's immaculate. So no, I would actually say it's a step sideways, but in a way, I also think it's a step up a little bit, an upgrade because the facilities are new. So I actually really enjoy College of Charleston's. It's in a big complex over there with our baseball stadium.
You're wearing your College of Charleston.
There we go, baby. Too. Yeah, there we go. So
too bad they couldn't make a run in the tournament.
Yeah, they tried.
Well, yeah. So we're going to start off with some news here. Louisville City defender Josh Wynder completed his $1.5 million Benfica transfer. It's also some potential add-ons with that as well, but it makes it the largest USL move in history. And he's going to be moving this summer when he turns 18. I guess just kind of talking first, how big do you think this is, Logan, just for like soccer in America, having their second division being able to produce young players like this to sell overseas as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's massive, right? We talk about it with MLS. We talk about the academy teams like with FC Dallas and the young players where they're kind of able to churn out. I think it's big for Louisville City too, as a club that some of the bigger clubs will start to look at as far as people that build talent and good talent. So I think with MLS just above them, and then you've got like academies and things and such. Like Benfica, they're known for churning out youth development. Like youth development is their thing. That's where a lot of Manchester City players came from. Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva, like Joao Cancelo, like they've always had really good players in the Portuguese system. So for Portugal to turn, Jordan, to Louisville City and the heartland of the United States, if you want to call it that, and pluck a player off in Joshua Wynder that is a really good defender and somebody I think U.S. men's national team will have their eye on as well as he kind of goes up through the system. I think it's massive. And to send over that much money to a USL club when a lot of these teams, Jordan, have a hard time paying any kind of fees for anything and really kind of keeping up with the state, like the Charleston Battery go to College Charleston because they couldn't pay any longer to be in Blackbaud. So an infusion of cash, this is massive. And it's speaking to Jordan. And I think the more that this happens, I think it speaks to the fact that USL is legitimate and that these lower leagues in the United States can start to kind of carry that torch of being a club or teams that some of these bigger clubs internationally can kind of pick on. So I love it. I think it's a great move.
Yeah, pretty big. I mean, I talked about it in my first episode, just about like how the Apple deal can affect USL in the sense of, Miami makes a deal to be on their local CBS, and then they have the ESPN deal, and it's like that's the only American soccer that's going to be on ESPN. They don't have the U.S. men's national team anymore. They don't have MLS anymore. So, like, I know ESPN doesn't usually put a lot into their soccer stuff, but just the fact that it'll be available for some of those games where people can flick on. And, the casual fans that do flick it on are not going to know what USL is. So they're going to think, like, this is the legit league, right? This is, like, the top league. And that can hurt or help, I guess. But, yeah, just kind of interesting to see how this continues to grow. we talked about how USL Championship has kind of had lesser teams as we go because some of these teams are moving on to like MLS Next Pro. I think that's a good thing. I don't want a second division full of like team twos for all these other teams. I'd rather that be in like MLS Next Pro. But yeah, super excited to be able to talk about some of these. So this is the way that we're going to do it because I came back from Florida. I recorded and released the episode while I was in Florida, right before the season started on Saturday, the 11th. And I thought, oh, I'll come back home and I'll record the recap of the first few weeks, like the first week. And then I'll have you on to talk about week 2 and all that kind of stuff. Well, I was sick, so I haven't done any of the podcasts I do by myself at all this week because I just haven't been able to get through it. Today is like the best day for me right now, so feeling pretty good. But and then you mentioned you want to come on here, so I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk week 1 results. We're going to talk week 2 results up until Sunday. So I'm probably releasing this on Tuesday, everyone, okay? We won't be talking about Sunday results because we're recording this before any of those games kick off. So what you'll hear is next Sunday, you'll hear the results about last Sunday and the games that happened midweek and Friday and Saturday, whatever. USL is not as consistent as MLS is now with all games on Saturday. So it's going to be a little bit more of a adjustment to kind of get used to this, but it's going to be like a weekly check-in every Sunday. I'll probably release it on Sunday once we get onto that rhythm. But since I'm recording 3 podcasts with you today, one of them's coming out today, one of them's coming out tomorrow, one of them's coming out Tuesday. So that's the way that we're going to structure that this week. But yes, so we're going to start off here. So week 1, the favorite score line in the league that weekend was 1-1. 4 games on Saturday and 1 on Sunday ended with a 1-1 score line. But the season kicked off with Memphis facing off against Loudoun United. Loudoun jumped out to an early 2-0 lead 11 minutes in, with Memphis pulling one back in the 37th minute. But Loudoun seals it in the 90-plus 4th minute. Memphis had more possession, had more shots, and their goal scorer also got a red card in the 63rd minute. For me, that was a weak red card. I think it was like kind of like a soft elbow to the face. Wasn't intentional to me. But, yeah, Loudoun jumping out to, this team used to be affiliated with DC United. Now I think it's more of a gray area if they are. I think Rooney says they can still send players to Loudoun and call players back like willy-nilly. But and I think the official partnership is done. Like they were like almost like a DC United 2 at some point.
Yeah, no, what is it? What's his name? Zach Ryan. Yeah, Zach Ryan, 2 goals, right? I don't know. I think when you're able to send people up and down through MLS and stuff, like with DC United, like it would have been cool to kind of see, like you obviously watched this longer than I have, but like to be able to have those systems in place to be able to pull team, guys up from these leagues, it'd be massive. But, they were the one that always popped up on Twitter whenever I would watch, like from afar, when Loudoun United would pop up.
Really?
It's always, yes, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but like, and especially now, like even on Twitter, I think a lot of their highlights popped up, but I think that's just more because they've scored quite a bit. So
it's interesting. Well, Miami beat, no, it did not beat. Miami drew Tulsa 1-1. Really great goal by Velo in the 26th minute. And then 2 minutes later, a shot by Tulsa is blocked by the keeper and then it's tapped in by Yusuf. Miami had so many chances, 16 shots with 7 on goal. Tulsa's goalkeeper made some good saves at the end there, but just a really great. Miami probably feels like they should have won that game. Such a bummer too to like give up a goal immediately after scoring a banger of a goal.
Yeah, no, it's wild to see Florian Velo too, because he was FC Cincinnati. Like it's so weird watching some of these games. You're like, what the hell? And we'll get into Tyler Pasher, but I was like,
yeah,
what in the world? Like I didn't know that Velo had ended up leaving and going to USL. I had no clue, no idea that he's with Miami. So
The Birmingham Legion drew Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which is Logan has a favorite player on on the Riverhounds.
I do.
1-1, but 28th minute, Legion take the lead off a corner header, and then 72nd minute, Pittsburgh equalize with a really nice finish by Mertz. And then it was the 80-minute nice double save by the keeper to keep it level for the Legion, or else maybe Pittsburgh gets an away win there. But pretty good. You want to share who your favorite player is there on the round?
Yeah, Albert Dequa, which in week 2, it's going to get more interesting for Albert. But no, I love him. I love his name. I don't know why, but also
it's like me with Kyoto. I like Kyoto's name.
Yeah.
Charleston Battery drew with Phoenix rather than another one of these 1-1 draws. 60 minutes, Battery took a lead through Booth. There's a real big mess in the box, just ball bouncing around and finally ending up in the back of the net. And then in the 74th minute, equalizer by Trejo, which was a ball over the top and then a nice little layoff and scored. Pittsburgh, why did I say Pittsburgh? Charleston had 17 shots compared to 5 for Phoenix, and Phoenix had more possession. So I always think it's funny when a team has like a lot more possession, but has like 5 shots. Mm-hmm. We saw it this week with like Crew having 60% possession, having 5 shots. The Red Bulls like 17. It's kind of similar here with like Battery having way more shots with less possession. But fun thing there, Tampa Bay Rowdies drew with Indy 11 1-1. 20 minutes in, handball in the box, PK saved by Indy 11 there. And then 57th minute, Tampa Bay finally get their goal. And then a 90+6, Quinn scores for Indy 11 to tie it up. This is a weak call for me, right? I know people like to say if the contact carries over into the box to call it a penalty. For me, most of the contact is actually outside the box. And to me, the way it looked is that the player purposely falls into the box to say that it carried over. Like, I think even when he starts falling, he's not in the box. So for me, that's not a penalty. Now, I'm not sure like what USL's, I don't think they have VAR. I'm not really clear on that. I don't think they use pro refs anymore either. I think they stopped that this year. So I'm not sure what the ref level is in USL right now, but there's a lot of calls that I did not agree with when I was going through these games.
Yeah, I've seen a couple too in week 2 that are questionable. There's only one, and when we get to it, we'll get to it. I think it was in the Riverhounds game, but there's one that was clearly obvious, and it was like what was happening. But yeah, no, I think level of reffing has gone down anyway, so just across the board. So it's not only just USL. I think it's MLS. I think it's some of the European leagues as well struggle with this. But yeah, no, I did see this one, and like you said, this one's always tough for me. Like the contact that carries and continues through the box. Like it's such a tough call because it's like it's got to be immediately right where the contact occurs, and sometimes I just don't agree with the fact that like it disrupted his run through the box.
Yeah, to me, this is like a flop. This is just like a total flop into the box. I mean, and the bad thing is like these highlight packages they use too are only 4 minutes.
Yeah,
on USL's YouTube, and like they barely show it like that many times. Like you have to like go back and watch it yourself like a couple times. But it's a shame. San Antonio, who won it all last year, started off the season with a 3-1 win over the Oakland Roots. They only had 34% possession, but had more shots. And there you go. They're starting the season off with a win. Sac Republic beat El Paso 1-0. Monterey Bay beat Hartford Athletic 5-3. Dixon had a hat trick for Monterey Bay there. 2 minutes in, 39 minutes in, and a 44th minute penalty. Monterey also had an own goal from Hartford, Rad, who's also good. So here's the thing too. Hartford, Rad scores in the 41st minute. Then he scores an own goal in the 45th +1. That's got to be like a total up and down day for you.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I played okay.
Yeah. I
scored, but I helped the other team too.
I scored 2 times, right? Like that's how it's going. But yeah, so that was a interesting thing for him. But Monterey Bay, like last year, I don't think if I can remember right off the top of my head, I don't think they finished that well. So to have them start with a 5-3 win, you probably don't want to give up 3 when you're leading. I think at some point, let's see, it was 1-1 at a point. All right. I see that. Then it was 2-1, 3-1, no, 3-2, and then 4-2, 5-2, 5-3. Yeah, so at one point it was 5-2, so I guess it was 4-2 at some point. So I don't know, kind of a crazy game there. San Diego Loyal beat Detroit City, who played pretty well coming up from NISA last year. So NISA is where the Maryland Bobcats are playing. Detroit was doing so much, constantly just winning that league all the time in NISA, just playing really well. So they bumped up to the championship. They bought their way into there, I guess. And then San Diego Loyal, Landon Donovan not coaching this year. He's in the front office, and they start off with a win over Detroit City, who played pretty well last year. So I guess we'll see here. Detroit City, we'll talk about this week in a little bit here, but they get a win. Louisville started off the season. They were in the final last year. They ended up losing to San Antonio, but they beat Orange County this week 3-1. Great start for them to kind of get back on track here for a run at a championship for them, you would think. Rio Grande draw with Las Vegas 1-1. Las Vegas took the lead 4 minutes in through an own goal, and then right before the halftime, Rio Grande tied it up. So at the end of week 1, that's how it was. There were some teams that hadn't played still. That's kind of confusing. Like Colorado Switchbacks did not play on the weekend, but they're going to play on Wednesday, March 15th. But El Paso's playing their second game at that point. Like, this is kind of like this is how we used to be with MLS, right? Where it's like, oh, this team's played like 4 games. This team's played 1. You're like, what? How does that work? And especially like El Paso was playing on, I think, Sunday or Saturday, and then to play Wednesday, and then to play again Saturday. Like, that's gotta suck. All right, so we'll move on to week 2 here. So El Paso started off the week there. Colorado started off their season on a Wednesday, and they win the game 2-1. Then, no games till Friday, where Birmingham Legion win 3-2. Tyler Pasher, former Houston Dynamo, one of our players that we thought we really liked. Tyler Pasher. What was that, 2021?
Yeah, it would have been 21.
I didn't realize where he went, but he goes to the Birmingham Legion, scores 2 goals, 4th minute and 83rd minute. 83rd minute was a good goal. You tweeted it out too, but maybe kind of weak on the end of that the team gave it up. But I mean, a lot of individual effort by Tyler Pasher. He dribbles for quite a bit, cuts in some people, and then takes a shot from well outside the box to score it.
It was like 5 defenders too. Like it looked like little kids trying to defend an adult. Like they just kept slipping or like would get completely lost defensively. And Tyler made a really good cut in, and he did that with the Dynamo. I think last year too. He was the one that started out with like 3 really great goals to start the year in 22, and then fizzled like he always does. And it was like, where'd he go? And now we found him, Jordan. We found out where Tyler went.
Yeah, Birmingham Legion. They win 3-2. I think the player on Tulsa, is that Marcus Epps? Or no, where is he? I'm gonna have to look this up. Yeah, it is a Marcus Epps. Okay. He was a Union player. Yes. All right, 2017, Marcus Epps. I can't believe it was that long ago now. Oh my God, we drafted him in the 2017 Super Draft, and then he went to Red Bulls, and he was mostly hanging out at like Bethlehem Steel and Red Bulls too, and then he goes to Memphis, Portland 2, San Antonio, Phoenix, and now he's at Tulsa. I can't believe it's been that long. Holy crap. I was thinking that was only like a couple years ago. 2017 is like 6 years ago. We drafted him. But we were talking about this, right? Offline. Having a strong second division like this, the good thing is it gives those chances for these players to still play professionally. When you have a strong second division, if they're not capable of making it in MLS, they can at least have, a level that they're playing at.
Yeah, it's hard for fans in this country to really get behind that idea that we have a second league because we don't have promotion relegation. So you don't see a lot of these teams unless you really make an effort. But again, they're on ESPN, they're streaming. So I don't get, and I'm excited to start watching because I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of just casually turning one of these games on saying, oh, this would be interesting. And then you see old MLS guys that are playing in this league, but it gives that, it's like the championship in England. It's like, League One and Two. Like you see a lot of these guys that they want to play professional football. They want to do that. That's what their life goal is. And they get a chance to do this. And I think it's cool because a lot of these little communities don't have and will never have a big professional sports team, like an NFL team, an NBA team, an MLS team. And I think it helps massively when you have like Charleston. We didn't have a professional team. Like we had a semi-professional hockey team, but being able to have a team that is getting some of these professional players like the Charleston Battery, it was always massive for us. And we used to go to some of their games just for fun, just because it was a professional team playing in our city. So,
yeah, people always look at the second league thing as like pro rel stuff, right? But they don't ever think about it, how it helps just the American player, right? So like you have a case of like Wynder, right? Who is a young player that maybe didn't get picked by an MLS team, but he gets picked by Louisville, right? So they're in a different market finding different kids, right? And then that they can still sell him and move him on to Europe. But what you also have is players that can't cut it in MLS or maybe are older and get cut by MLS that then end up in the championship and can play at a level. Like, so there's this, I think sometimes people are too focused on how it affects the clubs and talking about pro rel and not how it just affects the American player. How, USL has even lifted up Jamaican teams, national teams. When you're talking about some of those players from other CONCACAF regions may not be able to make it in MLS, but they might be able to play professionally in USL where they can't in another country. And that makes their national team better because they're playing against better players at a higher level. So, it's important to still have like this type of level. And what you're talking about is like getting a chance to watch it. I know people are complaining that, MLS is all on Saturday and they can't watch many games. Because once you watch your team's game, there's only a few more games or whatever. But with them all being on Saturday, guess what? I can watch the Sunday USL games. I can watch the Friday night USL games. Like there's instead of before where I felt like I was watching MLS from like 12 p.m. Saturday to 10 p.m. or 12 a.m. Saturday, and then doing the same thing on Sunday, I'm able to now kind of like delegate my time a little better to say I can watch MLS 360 while I'm watching my Union, right? And then turn on a West Coast game. And then the Sunday I can watch these USL games. I can watch, catch up on highlights. I do like that their videos are 4 minutes long. I will say that because you're able to kind of catch up easier than like when you look at some, like I think Premier League sometimes puts like 17-minute one. I'm like, I can't watch an 18-minute highlight video right now. I have to try to prepare myself for the show, So like, I do like that they're 4 minutes. I just wish they would kind of like maybe give it 5 minutes if you need to show like a controversial decision, show us a few more takes of it without me having to rewind myself. But I think this can work out. There's like 3 games today. I'm going to be gone for one of them, but like San Diego Loyal versus Phoenix, that's probably a good game at 6. Rio Grande and Oakland at 8. Like that's pretty cool. There's 2 games on Friday night. And then majority of the games are on Saturday around the same time the MLS games are on. So you'll have to either like quadruple screen or just catch up later. But it's fun. I mean, I like that. So we'll go into week 2 here, which Saturday had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Let me just say, out of the 7, there was 3 1-1s again. I'm sensing a trend here this season so far with the 1-1 draws. But the Riverhounds beat Memphis 3-1. And I just want to highlight something here. Memphis keeps ending up on this wrong side of 3-1 so far on the season. They had a 3-1 loss to Loudoun to start the season, and then they have a 3-1 loss to start week 2 to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And that game started off, I think, is that the one that started off very hot? 5th minute in, Dequa scores. 7th minute in, Lapa scores for Memphis to make it 1-1, 7 minutes in. And then Dequa gets the penalty in the 39th minute. And then Dequa scores again in the 71st minute. Oh my God, a hat trick. I didn't even pay attention to that. Pretty good. Memphis had more control of the ball, but Riverhounds had more shots. Just more shots on target, too. Good game from Dequa, though. Your boy.
Did you see the handball in this one?
No, I did not.
it is the most obvious handball I've ever seen, I think, in
For the penalty?
Oh, yeah. Like, the penalty ends up, like, they cross it in, and I think Dequa was waiting for it. I think he scores it because this defender sticks his hand out, like, down and blocks it. I was like, what the heck? I've never seen a defender stick their hand knowingly out and go, boom, and just stop the ball. I was like, what the heck was that? It looked on purpose. I didn't think it was at all on purpose until I watched the highlights. But yeah, one of the Memphis players the defender sticks his hand out. I think they were going to score, but it was pretty interesting. But Dequa, man, he's electric. Cameroon, center forward. What a guy, man. He's quick too. I really watched it. He's 25, but 3 goals, and his first one was great. So.
I'm looking for it now. I'm looking for the handball.
I will say USL does a really nice job on their YouTube channel by tagging their highlights. Like, yes, I know what I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, I see the handball now. Yeah, I do like. I do like when people do this. I would, if I had time, I would like to do that for our like when we're talking about different topics and stuff. But maybe when we're more professional, I guess. But Miami loses to New Mexico United. A penalty in the 85th minute by Portillo. I think it's a handball again. There's so many handball calls. Yeah, it's a penalty. So, so New Mexico wins that. Colorado Springs Switchback have their second game of the season. They draw with Hartford Athletic. Both of these had late goals, 70th minute and 88th minute, Zondi tying it up for Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. What a mouthful of a name. So far, I want to ask you your thoughts on the names and the crests, because I actually really like USL names and crests. But is there one that stands out to you that you're like, oh, that looks really cool, or that name is a mouthful, or anything like that?
I thought that the what was it? It was Memphis 901 was strange. I thought that was odd because it had the number in it. Loudoun United sounds like they play in England.
It does.
So that's kind of fun. I really do like Charleston Battery's logo because I know what it stands like. It's got the 2 cannons. Like, maybe it's not the best of things because those cannons were used to start the Civil War, and that's what that's referencing is the Charleston Battery. Hartford, I imagine that's Connecticut. That sounds very English as well. But I honestly, Jordan, I think my favorite crest / name is Phoenix Rising. Like I don't know why. I think because it's the soccer ball that looks like the Phoenix, and then I just love that name, the Phoenix Rising. It sounds like some kind of movie. it looks
Who
great.
do you think is their most famous player
Phoenix Rising.
At some point in their season, in their history?
Tim Parker. I have no idea. He looks like somebody.
Didier Drogba played there from 2017 to 2018.
Are you serious?
Yes. He scored 13 goals in 21 matches.
No crap. Wow.
Yes, I watched a lot of Phoenix Rising back then.
That's cool, though.
2 seasons he played there, 2017 and 2018 seasons.
Yeah, and I know
I think he owns them or something.
Yeah. I know Sacramento, not Sacramento. Yeah, Sacramento. Only because of Orlando City's game against them last year.
Oh, right.
They were really good. Like, I was impressed. I know San Antonio is very good. Them Louisville favorites to win. So,
yeah, I would say so. You know who I really like? The name and the crest is just so silly that I love it so much. The El Paso Locomotive FC with like the train grill and like the crest. I love that so much. When I think about USL and stuff, I almost think like minor league baseball and like how you can get some silly names with that. And I like that. I like leaning into that a bit. I know a lot of people want to do just like the FCSC stuff, but like that. I mean, Locomotive is also used in like the Russian leagues and stuff. So it's still like kind of Euro based, but I just love that it has an actual like train like grill in it right there.
Yeah. I would say a lot of these teams too play in really cool cities. Like, I mean, Pittsburgh's really nice. San Antonio's fantastic from what I've heard. Memphis, no, I'm kidding. Charleston's beautiful. I have lived there. Phoenix, fantastic city. Miami, Tampa, Indy 11, I think, are building a new stadium too. So that's cool.
Yes, a huge.
I don't know if it actually gets approved, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, my team, El Paso Locomotive FC, they lose to Detroit City 3-1, who rebounds. I like Detroit's crest as well. But yeah, this was a Yuma own goal in the 9 minutes in to give Detroit a lead. And then 17th minutes in, Kostashin scores for Locomotive. And then 60th minute, Matthews takes the lead. And then Maxi Rodriguez scores in the 78th minute. Yeah, so there you go. That's Detroit City getting their first win of the season. We also had Monterrey lose to Louisville. Ownby scoring for Louisville City as they start off the season pretty good. Ownby also got a red card in this match, second yellow. I feel like that's got a trend here with some USL goal scorers. That's 2 weeks in a row where they've scored and then get a red card. Got to clean that up. And then Orange County drew with the Rowdies 1-1. There's that score line again. Nielsen in the 40th minute and Haraval in the 82nd minute for the Rowdies. And Sac Republic tying with Charleston Battery 1-1 as well. Red card in that game as well for Luis Fernandez on Sac Republic. I'm like, these championship players got to calm down.
A lot of it I've seen are like the.
Have we even seen a red card in MLS this season so far? I feel like we
Julian
have.
Carranza.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's the one that just happened.
Yeah, but I did notice in a lot of the highlights with USL, it's a lot of arguing with the ref. Like it's a lot of that. Like I think because these guys they have aspirations of playing in bigger leagues, so I think they get a little fired up, and I think because they don't have the professional refs, I think that also has a lot to do with it. You got refs that are out there just throwing up the yellow cards because it's fun. So
let's look at the table so far. In the East, Louisville City leads with 6 points. They're the only team that have 6 points. Birmingham Legion in second with 4. Pittsburgh Riverhounds in third with 4 points. Detroit City in fourth with 3 points. Loudoun in fifth with 3 points. Then the Battery in sixth with 2. Tampa in seventh with 2. Tulsa in eighth with 1. Hartford in 9th with 1. Indy 11 in 10th with 1. They've only played one game, though. Same thing with Loudoun. And then Miami and Memphis in 11th and 12th. Miami with 1 point. Memphis was 0. They've ended both games 3-1 losses. So if you have to make a pick for when they play Oakland next, probably best to put 3 on Oakland. In the West, surprise, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, top of the West with 4 points. Sac Republic in 2nd with 4 points. Monterey in 3rd with 3. New Mexico United in 4th with 3. San Antonio in 5th with 3. Now, New Mexico and San Antonio have only played one game. Same thing with San Diego and Las Vegas. They both have played one game. They're in 6th and 7th. Orange County in 8th with 2 games played, 1 point. Sorry. Phoenix in 9th with 1 point. Rio Grande Valley in 10th with 1 point. And El Paso have played 3 games and have lost all 3. Ouch. They lost 1-0. They lost 2-1. And they lost 3-1. And then Oakland Roots have played 1 game and they sit bottom of the table. So far, the leading goal scorer is Dequa with 3 goals. Also, Alex Dixon of Monterey Bay has 3 goals. And yeah, wow, that's a good start for Dequa there. All from 1 game. So the matches that are taking place Sunday that we will talk about next week is Loudoun United at 3:45 against San Antonio, San Diego and Phoenix Rising, Rio Grande Valley versus Oakland Roots. We'll also talk about the games that are taking place Friday, March 24th, Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Miami at 7, Rio Grande Valley versus Monterey Bay at 8 o'clock. Saturday, March 25th, we have Hartford Athletic versus Birmingham Legion at 2. Louisville City versus El Paso Locomotive at 3. Detroit City versus Indy 11 at 4. Charleston Battery versus the Rowdies, 7:30. That's the Logan Derby there. FC Tulsa versus Loudoun United at 8:30. San Antonio hosting the Springs Switchbacks at 8:30. That's a big one because San Antonio can kind of get back. They're playing today against Loudoun as well, but people expect San Antonio to be top, but Colorado Springs are so far. Oakland Roots at 10 o'clock on Saturday versus Memphis. Orange County versus Las Vegas at 10 o'clock. And Sac Republic versus San Diego at 10 o'clock. Oh, fun story too. By the time that we talk next Sunday about these games, there's no games on Sunday next week. So we'll be like officially caught up and like previewing the next week. So that'll be nice. And before we go too, I just want to actually mention the USL League One has kicked off. I think they only played there was only 4 games that have happened so far. Friday, North Carolina lost to South Georgia Tormenta. Charlotte Independence drew with the Richmond Kickers. And one Knoxville SC beat Lexington 2-1. That's it. They kicked off their opening season, their opening week. Logan, there's 13 teams in the USL League One, and they played 3 games on opening weekend. This is the frustrating thing, right? And then we have a game on Wednesday, 3 games on Saturday, a game on Sunday, and then finally on April 1st, they play 5 games. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand the way that they're doing the schedule there.
I did notice that a lot of them play in baseball stadiums, so I guess baseball would be starting soon, so that's probably why. And then I know some of them play at colleges, and I know a lot of the colleges start soon as far as soccer. Some play in the fall. Since soccer season in the U.S. does not make any sense to me because soccer season at my high school that I taught at, they would start in October.
They played by the European calendar in school. You do it's a fall sport in school, but professionally here it's a spring
Yeah, but like in
summer.
South Carolina, it was spring, high school, and like fall here. It's so weird. Like I was like, I don't understand when soccer season is. But yeah, I think a lot of those scheduling things with USL and stuff are just honestly probably commitment to the pitch that they play on. So
I didn't think of it that way. So that's
yeah,
a good shout, I guess, because I was really lost on why,
yeah.
you know,
Like I
we
think I was watching the El Paso game, and they're playing on one of the minor league stadiums, baseball.
okay. Yeah, so USL League One is 12 teams, and they have 6 make the playoffs. So there you go with that. USL Championship, I just had to verify this. They have 8 teams in each conference make the playoffs. So they're only going to eliminate 8 teams, 4 in each conference. So currently, it's hard to tell because some teams have played only one game, but you know, the only teams missing the playoffs currently are Miami, Indy, Hartford, Memphis, Phoenix, Orange County, Oakland, and El Paso. So, season's young. The season's young, but we'll also check in with USL League One as we go. But like those games are so scattered that it's not as stressful. I mean, when I did this by my own too, I'd also like catch up on NISA at times, which I might, we might look at the table, but we're probably not going to talk as in depth with NISA. They took forever to even put out their schedule. People were wondering if they were going to
I saw
fold.
that. Yeah, if they were folding. Yeah,
It's worrisome.
Nice is still around, but so is NASA. So
yeah,
the spaceships.
That's where they're going to play.
I get so confused sometimes.
That's where they're going to play. They're going to send
about?
them to space this year.
Yeah, right. That's well, Elon probably would. So.
All right. So, Logan, tell us how it was the first week here of catching up on USL.
Getting to know a new league. That'll be tough. I think a lot of the players I'm starting to get used to, but teams and stuff, like I know Louisville and San Antonio are heavy favorites. I know that Loyola are usually pretty decent with Sacramento. I know that Indy 11, Indiana's usually got a good soccer program, youth and semi-pro, so now professional. But I'm interested to get into this league just because I find it fascinating. I always did when I was a kid too, because USL was the one we watched. So I'm interested to get back into it and really learn this league because it's I think it's a lot of fun. Lots of goals.
Yeah, we're putting the stateside in our name finally. We're
finally
talking about everything stateside. So we're all part of the Stateside Soccer Show Network, so if you want to leave feedback, you can reach us at Stateside Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Email us statesideshow@gmail.com. We'll catch you next weekend when we talk all the results from the rest of this week all the way up till next Saturday, the 25th. And we'll catch you next time.